Check 1, 2. Check 2, 2.
Check 3, check 4, check 5. I'm hungry. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tea with Abby. This is episode number 2 of season 2, and I am so grateful today to be sitting here with my best friend, extraordinary business owner, powerful woman, and definitely one of the biggest inspirations I have in my life to go after my dreams, Bex Cleary, everybody.
Hey, Tea with Abby. I'm so excited to be here today. I've been watching Abby from New York State this whole time as she's been absolutely flourishing, and I'm super excited to be here in person for Tea with Abby.
Well,
so
cheers
thank you for
to
having
you,
me.
girl.
Cheers, babe.
Shout out to Capital Factory for having us here today. And this is Tea with Abby, the show where we talk about the tea, the truth of what it is like to be first-time business owners, be women entrepreneurs, and all of these ups and downs that come with the journey of pursuing a life filled with passion. So, Bex, why don't you give us a little bit of info about who you are and what you do?
So I go by Bex in the industry. I am a hair artist and salon owner in upstate New York. We just embarked on opening up one of my biggest dreams thus far, which is a salon. Woo! So it's so exciting.
What is the salon called?
It's called Bexs, so which is my nickname, but it's also an acronym for what it means to be a beauty expert and to give a beauty experience to anybody that sits in our chairs at the salon. So it's a really exciting time. I really believe in growing others, so that's one of my biggest passions right now.
What does the salon feel like? What are you going after to create?
I'm going after to create a very clean, relaxing atmosphere. I don't double book my appointments, which is something very unfamiliar in my industry. So usually what that means for the listener, that means if I have a color appointment, I might try to fit in a haircut as a hairstylist. So I don't do that if I can help it. Of course, my schedule when I'm traveling gets a little bit busy. So sometimes we have to make adjustments, but mostly I try not to double book myself. And that really allows that customer to really feel relaxed and that I'm giving them my 100% attention. And I've noticed from doing that in upstate New York that people have been responding really well to it and love the vibes that we have at the salon. We also have a washroom. So as you walk into my salon, you're greeted by the front desk and the waiting area and the retail space. And then it's an old brownstone, so we have only 2 chairs right now. And then in the third room, which it's the brownstone, so once upon a time was the dining room of the brownstone. So right now we have beautiful art on the walls from Becca Piasek. And so we have a little art gallery that all of that art is for sale. And it's really exciting to have something that like people can really just walk around the room and feel something, right? And then as you go through this little hallway, we go to the washroom, which has its own music. So we play spa music, and it's just a really relaxing atmosphere where people can just really unwind.
That's amazing. So we met while you were in an apprenticeship in New York City, learning the artistry of cutting hair with a razor, which just, if you don't know, to me, it now sets the standard. Bex has totally elevated my expectations from stylists forever. But why don't you give us a little bit of background? What has the journey been like to go from a student to salon owner? Because not many stylists set out to open their own salon. You know, they might rent a chair and in a studio, and that's like the top of their career. So how did you get here? How did you start?
So it all began at the ripe age of 14.
Oh, wow.
I, was in seventh. Was I in seventh grade? I was
Somewhere
in
in
grade
middle school.
And we had to do a project that was, you pick what career you want to do. And I said, I'm going to research cosmetology, not like hairdressing, like cosmetology.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I interviewed my mom's hairdresser, and it was cool. She said the worst thing is that you're on your feet a lot. So I was like, okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
And from there, I knew I wanted to be really good at it. So I'm from a small town in upstate New York, which is where I ended up opening up my salon, which is super ironic that it kind of came full circle,
Right.
and I came back to my roots to open up like my dream. And from there, I went to Dean College in Massachusetts to get my associate's degree in business administration.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I knew I wanted to go to Paul Mitchell, the school. So at that time, I was like, okay, I'm getting out of like the Northeast and we're going to California. But ironically, Paul Mitchell, the school, Schenectady, opened up in my hometown of Schenectady, New York. And I went there, and I was one of the first students to go through that program there. And that was over 10 years ago. So I was like the class president at that Paul Mitchell.
Wow.
And, I like said yes to everything,
Sure.
and in the Paul Mitchell culture, they're called visionaries. So from there, I knew I wanted to like play with the best. You have to surround yourself with the best in the business to become the best. So I knew I wanted to go to New York City after that. And
The dream.
The hustle,
Right.
the grind
Yeah.
in New York City. So from there, I had an incredible opportunity to work at BEX Salon, and it was a 3-year training program in just hair cutting, and it was grueling, it was intense, but it was the best thing I could have done for my career and my artistry. And so from there, it's evolved, and I moved to Austin, Texas, started my brand. And now we have a brick and mortar, which has been the most exciting part of my career. We talk about our passion planners. What up, passion planner?
Bex, I think one of the things that you do really well is that you understand how valuable it is to break down your goals, write them down, reflect on them, and constantly come back to that process. Passion planner is definitely a tool that you can use for that. But I feel that that's something that's most definitely, I observed, been a part of how you've been able to
process
move forward.
everything and work on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And opening up my own salon has been my goal since I was 14 when I first started. So now, 2019, we opened our doors, and it's been an incredible journey thus far.
When is the 1-year anniversary?
Technically, it's today.
Get out!
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
February 4th.
Shut up!
February 4th, we got our
Cheers.
business license and was officially able to operate in the state of New York.
I'm so honored to be sitting here.
Oh my gosh,
It's
I just
so
thought of that.
It's so full circle today to be running a business that, we have this podcast, and you've watched us work on so many different ideas. And then, now we get to sit across from each other talking about our businesses. Oh, that is just so brilliant.
So the grand opening was April 4th, but we
Yep.
officially opened our doors on February 4th.
What's been the biggest challenge or learning curve going from a stylist renting a chair in a salon to now being a stylist, owning a salon, working in your salon, and hiring
I think
others?
that's the hardest thing for creatives is to be able to step away from I love being behind the chair. Having that relationship with my clients is one of the most sacred relationships that I have outside of my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so stepping away from the chair to then go and manage, and I have people that rely on me now for their careers.
Right.
So it's definitely been a discovery, but what I've learned is setting boundaries from the beginning is the most important thing to then move forward in your business. And I think that goes towards your personal life too, like no matter when you're moving into like uncharted waters, you don't want to be upstream without a paddle. So it's important to like make sure you have that paddle and make sure that those boundaries are set before, because it's a lot harder to build those after the case. So
in this experience of buying a brownstone, renovating the first floor, turning it into your dream, what's your favorite? I mean, obviously opening the salon and making it to today, this 1-year anniversary, is a massive milestone. But is there anything else that stands out for you as being huge milestones along the way?
I mean, I educate around the country. So that's been, a goal also of mine, was to be, a platform artist, which I attained when moving to Austin, Texas, and started working for Donald Scott NYC. And so my goals now, and going back to my passion, my earlier thought was like, my big goal was always like opening up my salon. So now it's like I get to have other goals and like think about other things that matter to me in my career. So I'm going to be, entering a big photo competition this year, and I want to grow my academy in the salon. So as we were talking about, I went through apprenticeship in New York City on Park Ave at Mizu, and so now I'm giving that back to my industry and offering an apprentice program at my salon. But also I want to, expand that to not just people that work for me, but for artists, local or not local, that can travel and, learn from me as well, a little more one-on-one, just like what I went through.
That's so dynamic. The value at Blended Sense, we completely have that same value where we want to give the tools to our creative professionals to grow and learn new skills and get better. And for example, Lindsay, who's been crushing it with Charles editing these podcasts, is really learning how to get behind the camera now and really, expand her creative tool set. I just think that's it takes your business to a whole new level, because then now you're just like, Paul Mitchell, right? So it's like Paul Mitchell gets to expand and grow because they've affected so many people, and now Bexs gets to have that effect. And you train someone who goes on to train someone who goes on to train someone, and I just think that's it's such an essential part of having a good business, is how are you going to elevate the people around you and make them better.
I know, it's
I love
cool.
that.
You become, you move from being a mentoree to being a mentor, and that holds a lot of weight to me, and I take that really seriously. So,
do you ever get imposter syndrome about feeling like, because at first when I was, in this position, I was often questioning,
like, if you were ready?
Yeah, or just like, is anyone going to, how obvious is it that I'm a first time business owner? Do you ever get that way, or have you pushed past that?
I feel like my entire career has been building blocks. So I feel like I've been ready for this. I feel like I've been ready. I'm ready to be a salon owner, and I'm ready to grow my salon. So I think everything happens when it's supposed to, and it's supposed to happen how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So you just have to just take it and be ready.
Yeah.
I don't believe in faking it till you make it. You gotta
train
till you make it.
Yes, absolutely. In that process of training and taking these building blocks, lots of wins, of course, but lots of learning lessons. I don't know if that's the right word. Lots of lessons learned. Lots of moments where I'm sure something felt really hard or difficult, or something didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. I don't want to call them failures, because
discovery.
Yeah. Oh, have there been any critical discoveries for you, either in this year or in the span of your career so far? Oh, I love that.
Yes. I was reflecting on like failing, and I don't feel like I have really failed, And there's been moments of like trial and error and lots of discoveries and lessons learned. The biggest one I think we can all take away is boundaries, and establishing them from the beginning, no matter how small you are as a business owner.
Can you give us an example?
you want to protect yourself, right? So as a business owner, like, and as a mentor, people can take advantage of you, unfortunately, and use your, kindness and, kind of just take advantage of it. So you want to just protect yourself and your business and have things literally written out in concrete that you can, then go back to if something's not working out and say, here, listen, like, we've talked about it. It's, it's on concrete paper.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the biggest thing that I've learned from being in business is just to have that concrete paperwork behind you as you move forward, even as an entity of one.
Right. Right at the beginning, one of our mentors, before we even set out to really form a business model, had us come up with our company values so that we had these pillars to always lean back on and know that when we were about to engage in a new relationship with somebody or bring on a new investor or any, a team member, that we had to make sure they aligned with these values.
I love that.
And if that, I would say that's in a way our boundary. And so, if you don't connect to these values, this is how we keep ourselves in check. And what I think we're working on now, especially as we're bringing more team members in, are like, we've kind of discussed this a little bit, are like, what are the policies around different areas of our business that when we have hard decisions to make, we can rely on these policies that are set in stone. This is how we do things. And that's what it is.
Yes. Systems have been big in my world. I've always believed in the structure of a system and having them in place. But it's important to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And we're a green circle salon. So I don't, we don't have a lot of like, I don't want to, kill a lot of trees. So a lot of my structure and systems are digital. But I've been realizing that it's actually okay to just, you have to have like a handbook sometimes and the policy literally in black and white that's concrete and you can hold on to it. That's why we love our passion planners.
Exactly.
It's concrete and you can hold on to it and you hold yourself reliable and you hold your business reliable to those structures, systems, and policies.
What does it mean to be a green circle salon?
It means that we recycle all of our hair and foils from highlights and any color waste. So we're diverting all of that waste from landfills and waterways. So it's
wow.
Yeah.
And you also stock your salon with products that support this initiative as well.
Yeah. So we stand behind Kevin Murphy. And officially, as of this year, all of their products are now being made with ocean waste plastic. So yeah, we're all about reusing and recycling at BEX Salon.
That's such a great example of an industry that you may be like, well, how can they affect change in the world? And that you're finding ways to do that every day. And we're thinking about things like that at Blended Scents too. Like, how do we make our sets green? So how do we reduce our waste, whether it's the snacks and water that we're providing for people or the props that we're using? How do we find a more renewable
I think a big thing is single waste plastics. Like we don't have bottled water at my salon. We even the sink in my salon is an eco head. So what that means is all of that water is filtered, but it also is saving water. It's important. I feel like if you're going to be in business, you get to make all of these decisions that affect our planet, and being in business as a CEO of a company, you're making those executive decisions to better our earth. Because if we keep taking and taking from this earth, what's the point of being in business? We're not going to have an earth to be in business with,
Oh,
so
it takes creativity too to come up with these solutions and bravery as well to set new standards.
So we partner with Green Circle Salons at the salon. So what that means is we, divide all of that waste that we can give back to Green Circle Salons, and then it's a program. So of course we buy into it, and it's funded through our environmental service fund. sustainability fund, environmental sustainability fund. And then UPS picks up my box and off to Canada to Green Circle Salons it goes. And I think it's an investment into, our earth, and super important, really.
Yeah, into the future of everybody who wants to go after their dreams.
Yes.
It takes I said it takes a lot of creativity, because while I do see you as a hair professional, I've always viewed you as a creative and an artist first. And I would love for you to enlighten us a little bit on how do you balance your creative fulfillment, but then you also have to very clearly satisfy what your customer wants. How do you maintain balance between fulfilling yourself and fulfilling the customer?
That's a great question, Abby. And two, in my world, I get to be creative when I'm behind the chair, and it's almost a meditational state for me to cut hair and to do hair, because you spend a full hour usually at a time with somebody. And from there, you get to feel creative, even if it's just a trim, and it still works. So sometimes at the end of the day, it does feel like, okay, like it's work. I love what I do. I love my work. But at the end of the day, your feet are still tired, just like my mom's hairdresser had said, they would be.
Yeah. Or you're like, oh my God, I haven't eaten anything yet on this
we don't
shift.
get a lot of bathroom breaks in our industry. So traveling really helps fuel me. So coming down to Austin, Texas to take care of some of my guests when I lived down here is creative to me, because I get to spend time on the airplane, meeting new people. And so travel, educating, really, especially when I'm traveling and educating at the same time, that fuels my creativity. And then getting out of my comfort zone, right? Any magic happens outside of your box and your bubble. So it is important to me as a business owner to leave my bubble of the salon and get outside into the world, whether it's another salon local or, internationally or nationally, and getting to watch those sparks fly on other beauty experts.
I know you have something coming up where you get to directly almost basically create art on somebody's head. It's called Naha, for those of you who don't know. I know so much about the hair industry now just by being friends with you.
I know.
Where does your inspiration for creating something out of nothing come from?
My inspiration comes from truly travel and like those days where I'm not behind the chair. And so in particular with North American Hairdressing Awards, I'm planning on entering this year in the haircutting department.
Okay.
And this year I really want to, I got sparked by a TEDx conference. So there was a segment in there that really talked about the passion and purpose of superheroes. So I feel like there's a superhero in all of us, and that's what's really going to spark this creative journey that I'm about to embark on. And anytime anyone enters Naha in our industry, we learn a lot about ourselves in the process, because it's anytime you step outside, you're like, it's going to be so creative and fun, but there are a lot of challenges that come with all of that. So in those challenges is where you grow and learn and become a better rounded hairstylist.
Yeah. You've also been a major champion for women, and you're one of the most passionate feminists that I know.
I thank my mother, Paula Marshman, for that.
Oh, shout out to Paula. She's amazing. One of the challenges of this industry that I've been working in this year is there's a lot of male to female unrepresented voices to the norm, what's been the norm, right? And there's this kind of momentum building around supporting unrepresented founders. I'm curious about the hair and cosmetology world. What is that dynamic like between
So in our industry,
leaders.
90% of the working professionals are women.
Mm.
At the top, 90% of them are men, which is something very, like I think men are physically stronger.
Okay.
So them giving a shampoo, for example, is a little more invigorating to a woman because of sex,
Mm.
And at the top, like men do they don't take time off to have babies. They don't, that's really the only thing that they don't have to do.
Yeah.
So I think that allows them to propel forward because they don't really have a lot of extra stuff that they have to deal with in their personal lives. And two, it's a societal thing where, but mostly in our industry, it's 90% women that, you think of hairdresser and you think of females,
Sure.
So in my industry, I think about it all the time. How can I build these women up to be at the top of our industry, Not to say like my best friend is a guy, and he's a hairdresser. So
And so talented at that.
So
Hi, Steven.
Steven and Carlo. But I think it's important that men and women build each other up as equals, and for women to charge what they're worth and not just think like, oh, I'm in a market. It's, haircuts are $20, so I'll be $20 for my haircut. Like, I think that in our industry, we have to really build each other up. And going back to being a constant student, right? You have to take classes in order to raise your prices and, charge more. But it's important to celebrate women and their successes. So in my salon, in November, we launched a blow-dry bar menu, and each of those menu items are based off of women in Schenectady County's history. So that's really cool. So it was a really cool process learning about these women that came before us. Because back in the day, women weren't even written about. So that process is cool because women have gone through so much to allow you and I to be able to be on a podcast today.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important to just celebrate that and remember that and, spread building each other up.
I'm kind of have the chills right now because I think it's amazing that in something I'm sure many people might see as a vanity industry, right? Looking good and feeling good, hair cutting and makeup, that you are able to impact so directly on so many different levels. And I'm just so proud of you for being so bold in creating a business based off of your values and making a legacy, really, and bringing something that Schenectady has never seen and was so hungry for, I'm sure. So what's next?
What is next? Just leveling up. Like we had 1 year in business officially today, and what's next? So, how do we do what we're doing better? How, and it goes back to reflecting and seeing what worked last year and what's not working this year and letting go of what's not working and making room for what will work and, championing on. And I do want to give a shout out to my family because I wouldn't be here and able to move forward without the support of my husband and my daughter. So I just want to give a shout out to
we love them.
To my, my rocks.
Absolutely. How do we find you online and how do we find you if we're in New York?
So my website is beautybybex.com. We will be elevating our website soon, so it will be BEX Salon, but directed through Beauty by Bex. Will be able to find me as well. And then on Instagram, I'm, as a person, Bex_Cleary, and my salon is Bex_Salon.
Amazing.
Because salon's basically my middle name.
And then if we have, if a viewer out there, all of our friends and family are in the Northeast, and so you should absolutely take a trip up to the Stockade. It's one of the most beautiful places.
It's New York's oldest historic district. So it's basically the oldest historic district in the country.
Right.
And you can also, if you can't get up to New York, subscribe to me on YouTube. It's Beauty by Bex. I've been, Abby's been working with me. There's an old throwback video on there. Think of a mullet cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, follow me on there. I will be putting out some more content this year, and championing on and building.
Amazing. Oh, well, now this is my favorite part. This is the quote, the mantra, or something that you love to live by. Would you like to share yours?
Absolutely. This is a mantra that I have lived by my entire career. So
okay, so you're gonna
actually, before my career even started, it was on my graduation cake.
Amazing. This was
from high school.
Destiny. So you take your cup, say it directly to the camera, and after you say it, you're gonna take a sip.
Okay. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." I know.
Thank you so much,
Abby.
Bex.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud of
girl.
you. And that's another episode of Tea with Abby. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching Tea with Abby. Be sure to click subscribe and smack that like button so you can stay tuned. Smack that like button. See that like button? Smack it. Thanks so much for watching an episode of Tea with Abby. Be sure to click subscribe and smack that like button so you can stay tuned with new episodes all year long. And if you want to learn more about Blended Scents, visit us at our website, www.blendedsense.com, or follow us on social at Blended Scents or at blendedsense.io. See you next week.